Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the ThePCelitist. My name is Woodsy. Today is Thursday. I had kind of a crisis trying to get my computer ready to do this recording. Some technical issues, but it's Thursday night. Tomorrow's Friday, which I'm very excited because then the weekend is here and we get to partake in our favorite hobby of PC gaming, because we are, after all, gaming hobbyists. And if you're new to this channel, which I hope we get some new people, some new blood listening to the channel. But if you're new to the channel, you might ask, well, what's the difference between a hobbyist gamer and any other type of gamer? Well, I'll make an analogy to movies. There are people who watch movies, there are people who make movies, there's people who like to watch movies, but there's also people who enjoy watching movies so much they'll drive an hour and a half in Los Angeles traffic to get to one movie theater that has a viewing of The Secret of Kells and really wants to see it, which is actually something I did and is a great movie, by the way. But we are people who like to be close to the metal, as it were, who like to see gaming trends before they become mainstream, and a lot of that happens on PC. Thus, we are PC gamers. Thus, we are elitist about our PC gaming. Oh, it's so cool. Anyway, I'm very excited about this weekend to play more Witcher 3 without any radar on. I'm going to keep that sucker off, as convenient as it is. And a lot of people left comments last time I mentioned it. I was surprised that more people didn't say, like, come on, Woodsy, come on. You haven't turned that off before? Because, you know, even among elitists, sometimes I'm not the most elitist. There's people who, you know, actually don't mod stuff that often. I usually play things as the developer has intended. And only down the line, if I'm really into a game, I might mod it. But generally, at my first playthrough, I generally don't mod anything. I just play it as it comes out of the box. You know, but I always put it on hard mode. I had this discussion with a coworker today because another coworker of ours was already done with The Witcher, and I mean, he doesn't really play any kind of multiplayer games to get in the way. He just plays single player games, so he kind of burned through it. But I was like, besides that, he plays on normal mode, and nowadays normal mode is easy. Easy is, I don't even know who easy is for. It's like for people who, I don't know. I don't even know who that's for. It's so easy. But normal is easy. Hard is normal. And then there's like crazy hard ones that just make the game impossible. But the hard is normal mode, okay? And that's what I play The Witcher 3 on. And I'm playing with no radar. So, there. That's why. I haven't gotten through the game yet. But everyone left great comments. Thank you for your suggestions regarding how how I can interact with you, and I'm definitely going to make it a habit of doing that. Now my phone actually will tell me when I get comments, which is cool. It doesn't work all the time. It doesn't tell me every time a comment comes across for some reason, but it does some of the time, and that's better than none of the time, I suppose. So that's kind of cool. But a lot of you left. You guys are talking about kind of where the genesis of the radar and the heavy UI, the heavy-handed UI came from, and I completely agree that it's the consoleization of video games. But, and I didn't really get into it when we had this discussion last time about the radar and where that all came from. But I do know I had an experience a few weeks ago. I had some cousins over who were totally used to like playing on console, and I hooked my computer up to our big screen in the living room in order to kind of make it a more communal experience for us to play. And I was trying to play some games on there, and I just noticed what a different experience it is trying to sit on a couch with a controller to play a game that's supposed to be immersive. Like, I was playing Alien Isolation, and I could not get into it for the life of me. And at first I thought, well, it's all these people around, you know, lights are on, people are meandering around the kitchen and it's distracting. Whereas on my PC, I got the screen right in front of me and I put my headset on and I'm totally involved in the game. But then everyone left, like later in the night, everyone went to bed or what have you. And I tried to play, like, oh, now I'm going to get into it because I don't feel like moving my computer all back over to the desk. I'm just going to play right here. And I don't usually play on a controller, by the way, either. So I just want to make sure that's clear. I have an Xbox One controller for certain games, like Ori and the Blind Forest, which I bought recently, and the game I never got to play was what the heck is it called? I can't remember. It's a ninja game. Anyway, Mark of the Ninja. That's what it is. Anyway, so I sat down with the controller and I tried to play Alien Isolation after everyone had gone, but it was so difficult to get to that point that we always talk about, that like immersive point where everything kind of fades away and I'm totally into the game. And I have a feeling it has to do with a lot with just the distance from where I'm sitting to the screen, from the couch to the screen. And I was not enjoying it. And I know it had nothing to do with the game. The game seems really cool. I did not like sitting so far away. I felt like I couldn't see little details that I usually like to appreciate. And I have a feeling that that comes with the heavy UI, just sitting really far away, looking at a screen, and I assume you have screens of all different shapes and sizes you have to account for. So you give players this convenient little bobble in the top right of their screen and say, hey, just, you know, look at this thing, and that'll help you guide you through this world. So I think that has a lot to do with not necessarily... I think it does have to do with just making the game easier. I think the UI came in an age where, and I think we're trying to get away from this a little bit now, game developers are figuring out that making your game easy is no longer satisfying to gamers. But I think there was, as kind of big business grew with gaming and said, hey, these make a ton of money, we should just fund these games, and they realized that we pour $15 million into a game and only like 10% of people actually finish the thing. So why are we spending so much money on this game? Because people hit a wall or it's too hard and they just quit. It seems odd. You already got the money one way or the other. Like, why do you care if people finish the game? But I think that on some level they do. So they make it easier for players to get from point A to point B, as if, this is where I think the mistake is made. As if getting the player from the beginning of the game to the end of the game is the goal. Which is, it's not. The point of the game is to make an engrossing experience, and that drives the player to get from A to Z. The experience itself is what makes the player want to get to the end of the game. Not just getting the player to the end of the game is the goal. I mean, if you wanted to do that, you could do all sorts of things. But they try to make things convenient for the player as much as possible. But it's really a flawed way of thinking on so many levels. And the biggest reason that I can think of is that gaming, when you break it down, is a conglomeration of things that you invent to inconvenience the player to get from point A to point B. That's what it is. And it's things we like being inconvenienced with. Like, we like being inconvenienced with zombies. Oh, we're in the barn and we want to get to the car. There's a bunch of zombies in the way. Gosh darn it. I guess we're just going to have to shoot our way through. What a shame. But we like that inconvenience of having to shoot our way through zombies. So, some might think, well, we just want to filter out all the other stuff that is inconvenient to the game and just keep the stuff that, like, people want to be inconvenienced with. But, you know, all of those, every bit of the game, those decisions you make when to inconvenience the player and when to make it convenient, gives a certain atmosphere to the game. And you have to be cognizant of that, or you basically kill the atmosphere. Because I kind of equate it to, like, I don't like 3D movies because I feel like the directors give too much service to the fact that it's 3D and acknowledge the camera. In movies, I don't like it when we're constantly acknowledging the camera, when things are flying at the camera, as if, hey, we know there's an audience, like constantly know there's an audience. And I think that when you have all this UI on the screen and you're constantly trying to make it convenient for the player, it's somehow, I think, consciously sometimes, definitely, but sometimes even unconsciously, is not allowing the player to really dive in and be immersed into the game, because we're creatures of convenience. We like convenience, so we'll kind of default to letting things be convenient to us. In the same way, in like The Witcher, the map thing and the waypoints and the map on the top right of the screen, it never really occurred to me to turn that off until the other day. But it is, because it's so darn convenient, I just would constantly be looking at it to help guide myself through the world. And it feels weird to turn it off and to force myself to be inconvenienced, but ultimately it's a better experience. So that leads me to my final point for the day, until I do a recording, a few days from now. Have you ever, if you've probably heard the discussion or the term, it's an acquired taste, and I really learned the full meaning of this when I started smoking cigars. I love cigars. I have a humidor in my room that has a few cigars in it, which I plan to smoke at least one of them this weekend. I don't smoke that often. It's like every couple weeks I'll smoke a cigar, but it wasn't something I grabbed and started smoking a cigar and was like, this is great, and kept doing it. I had to learn what the appeal was. And I don't know why I had such an interest in it, but I did. And I kept at it. I kept trying to get better at smoking cigars. And I kind of figured out the type of cigars I like. And then it became kind of a hobby of searching for another cigar like the one I liked, and I would smoke a few and I'd find another brand and type that I like, and there's billions of them. There's so many types of cigars, it's ridiculous. But I find the one I like, and then I find others that I like, and you find something that's maybe on the fringe of something you like, and you try to learn why you should like this thing. And that's where the acquired taste comes from. Some people don't really think about what that means. You learned to like it. You acquired the taste for it. It wasn't natural to you. You tried it the first time and it was gross, but you learned to like it. And I think this comes into that objective, subjective kind of terminology that, it's just about whether you like it or not. But we can learn to like things that ultimately are a better experience if we reach out and really try to like it. And I take on that mentality, that cigar mentality, in my gaming, and I invite you all to do the same thing. But I think reaching out, and just push the fringes of what you kind of like, and see the other things you like, and acquire a taste for something that you might not like about gaming. I think doing something as simple like, I don't want to turn off my radar, that's scary. It might require me a lot more work to find stuff. I have to search around more, or what if I miss something? What if I miss a treasure or something? Well, maybe missing a treasure is a good price to pay to have that immersion where you really feel like you're in that world, and that you found what you found because you're observant and not because there was a little beacon on your map. Anyway, it's something to think about. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please thumbs it up. And I will see you guys next time, hopefully on Friday, where we'll all have a day off and enjoy some video games. I will see you guys next time.